You can run a 10K. You can go to the gym every day. Your blood test can look perfectly normal. And still, a 90% blocked artery could be growing inside your heart right now. The most dangerous one is called the widowmaker. And the terrifying part? For nearly half of all men, the first symptom of heart disease is sudden death. No warning, no pain, just one moment you're fine, and the next moment your heart stops. So how can your body hide something this deadly? And more importantly, how can you detect it before it's too late? To understand that, we need to look inside the heart. Your heart is a muscle, and like every muscle, it needs oxygen to survive. But the heart has a problem. It works 24 hours a day without rest, which means it needs a constant supply of blood. This blood is delivered through a network of vessels called the coronary arteries. Early anatomists thought these arteries looked like a crown. That's where the word coronary comes from. But there's a better way to picture them. Imagine a massive tree. The trunk splits into branches, and those branches feed every leaf. Your coronary arteries work the same way. If a small branch gets blocked, a small part of the heart suffers, but if the main trunk is blocked, the entire tree collapses. One artery in particular is especially dangerous. It's called the left anterior descending artery. Doctors often call it the widowmaker, because when this artery gets blocked, the heart can fail in minutes. Inside, every artery is a thin lining. It's smooth, almost like Teflon. Blood cells slide across it with almost no friction. But over time, that surface can get damaged. High blood pressure, high blood sugar, smoking, inflammation, even decades of heavy stress on the arteries. All of these act like sandpaper. They create microscopic injuries in the vessel wall. Your body immediately tries to repair the damage. It sends LDL cholesterol to patch the injury. Then immune cells arrive to clean up. But something strange happens. Those immune cells start absorbing the cholesterol. They swell up and turn into something called foam cells. Over years, these cells accumulate. They mix with calcium, fat, and cellular debris. And slowly, a deposit begins to form. This deposit is called plaque. The process is known as atherosclerosis. But here is the dangerous misconception that gets people killed. Most people think plaque works like a clogged pipe. They imagine the artery slowly narrowing until blood can't get through. But that is not what usually happens. Your body is incredibly good at adapting. When plaque starts growing inside an artery, the artery doesn't immediately narrow. Instead, the vessel wall expands outward. It stretches to make room for the plaque. Doctors call this positive remodeling. The result is shocking. You can have a massive plaque buildup, while the artery still looks completely open. Blood flow stays normal. You feel perfectly healthy. You can run, exercise, lift weights, and never suspect anything is wrong. This is why heart disease can stay silent for decades, until suddenly, something triggers a disaster. The biggest plaques are not always the most dangerous. The most dangerous plaques are actually small and unstable. Think of them like a blister under the skin. Inside the blister is a soft, inflammatory material, and covering it is a thin, fragile cap. Most of the time, that cap holds. But if blood pressure spikes, or the heart suddenly works harder, that thin cap can tear open. This is called a plaque rupture. The moment that happens, the body thinks a wound has occurred, and it reacts instantly. Platelets rush to the area. A blood clot begins to form, but inside a coronary artery, that clot becomes deadly. In just minutes, it can completely seal the artery shut. Blood flow stops. Heart muscle begins to die. This is what we call a heart attack. Imagine a 50-year-old runner named Robert. Robert exercises regularly. He eats well. His cholesterol levels look normal. During a race, something feels strange. He doesn't feel crushing chest pain. Instead, he feels dizzy, nauseous, weak. He assumes he's dehydrated. But at the hospital, doctors run a blood test. They find a protein called troponin. Think of troponin like the liquid inside a glow stick. As long as the stick is intact, the liquid stays inside. But if the stick breaks, the liquid leaks out. Heart cells are full of troponin. If those cells die, troponin leaks into the bloodstream. Robert is having a heart attack. But when doctors scan his arteries, they find something surprising. Only a 50% blockage. So how did that cause a heart attack? When you're resting, a partially blocked artery might not matter. Your heart needs only a small amount of oxygen. But when your heart rate jumps to 170 beats per minute, everything changes. The heart suddenly demands massive amounts of blood. But the narrowed artery can't deliver it fast enough. It's like trying to supply a fire hose through a bent garden hose. The demand exceeds the supply. The heart muscle begins to suffocate. This condition is called ischemia, and if it continues long enough, heart cells start to die. Most people believe heart attacks always come with warning signs, but the truth is far more complicated. Many heart attacks occur in arteries with less than 50% blockage, because unstable plaques are more likely to rupture. This is why the first symptom of heart disease is sometimes sudden death, especially in younger people. Older hearts sometimes survive heart attacks better. Why? Because they've had more time to build detours. Our heart can create alternative pathways for blood. These are called collateral vessels. Think of them like side streets around a traffic jam. If a blockage slowly develops over years, the heart builds these detours. Exercise can help stimulate their growth, which is one reason physical activity is still incredibly important. But even with these detours, the safest strategy is still early detection. Standard blood tests can only tell you what's in your blood. They cannot tell you if plaque is already forming in your arteries. To detect that, doctors use imaging. One of the most powerful tests is the coronary artery calcium scan. It takes about 5 minutes. It looks for calcium deposits inside the arteries. A score of 0 is excellent, but a score above 400 can indicate serious risk. Another test is the CT angiogram. This scan can detect soft plaque before it hardens, sometimes decades before symptoms appear. These scans allow doctors to detect heart disease long before it becomes fatal. The healthy heart attack is often a tragedy of ignorance, not weakness, not laziness, but not knowing the danger was there. Control your blood pressure, manage your blood sugar, stay physically active, but most importantly, don't assume you're safe just because you feel healthy, because when it comes to heart disease, silence doesn't mean safety. Like, subscribe, and press the notification bell for future videos.